Hi, Kelly and Dan. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
Great. Um, Now, Kelly, you must be one of the presenters.
I am not. No.
Oh, you're not. Oh, okay.
Uh,
I shouldn't have let you in yet then, actually.
well, I will just stay quiet then. We'll make
Okay.
it
Okay.
easy.
I'm trying to see who the presenters are. Do you know who the presenters are? I don't have my schedule in front of me. Uh,
I'm looking right now.
Thank you.
It should be Zach George,
Okay.
Candace Duckworth,
Okay.
Anne Lou.
Okay.
I think just those three.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, Candace.
Oh, hello.
I let a couple people in by mistake, but I think I told them, no, we're not starting yet.
Oh, that's okay.
So Candace, who else is presenting with you?
It is going to be Anne Lou and Zachary George.
Okay. Okay. I'll make you co-presenters too. I don't think there's really anything that you can already share your screen, but I'll make you co-presenters anyway. I'll go ahead and make you one right now.
Yay. I know Zach's going to share his screen. I don't have anything to share.
Okay. But so when people enter the room, I'll go ahead and let them in so you guys can just focus on your presentation. Okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll try to keep everyone else. I let a couple people in by mistake.
Yeah, that's okay. Dan,
But I'll try to keep
wow.
everyone out. I'll try to keep everyone else out until Kelly promised to just be quiet.
That's fine.
But I don't see anyone else. There's an L Beck. That's not.
Not yet, no.
No. So you've got the PACAC backwards.
Does it show up backwards or does it show up regular?
It shows up backwards.
Because to me, it looks regular. Wait, I can flip it.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. Yeah, that's
Right.
what, because to me, it looks regular. So maybe I have to like click it to mirror or something.
I know. I know. These are all challenging.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It looks different that way.
No, I'll flip it back. Let's see, delete these guys. We can put a Vermont one up. How's that?
Yeah, that's nice. Are you in Vermont?
I'm not. I live in Pennsylvania, but I work for the University of Vermont.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, I'm their regional rep.
I'm an alum of UVM.
Oh, really?
I graduated in 1859.
That's impressive.
I know, isn't it? It's amazing. I'm still alive, right? No, it's hard to, I graduated in 1983, maybe?
Okay.
It was a long time ago.
Awesome.
But I love UVM, and I actually grew up in the summers, pretty close to that area on Lake George. I don't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So who is that? Jamie? Nope.
Not a presenter. Nope, not yet.
So, yeah, that's so funny. Let's see who else. Lauren Wright, Zach George.
Zach George. We want to admit him.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna let everyone know in the waiting room. We'll let them in soon.
Sure. Yeah,
or
we're
at
early.
At 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock.
We'll let you in at 2 p.m. I love UVM. Did you go to UVM?
I did not. I wish I
No.
had. That's really cool.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Oh, that's a great. I'm from New Jersey, so.
Oh, okay. So then you know. That's good.
Yeah. See, we have so much in common.
Here we go. Here comes Anne.
Where are you from in New Jersey?
Phillipsburg, New Jersey, in good old Warren.
Oh, way. Yeah. That's way over by Lafayette and Lehigh.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And I just live on the other side of the river in Easton now by Lafayette. So.
Let's see. Gail Sweezy. No, we're looking for Lou,
Yeah,
right?
and she's
I'm-
in.
What,
Yep.
who's there? Oh,
Yep,
okay.
she's
Ann
in.
Lou.
Yay.
She go great.
How are you?
Yeah. So UVM, do you ever get up there for meetings?
Yeah, I usually get to go maybe like 4 or 5 times a year. I was last there in January. My April trip understandably got canceled. So to be determined when I get to go back.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Zach.
Hi
And
there. How we doing? Congrats,
Hi.
Candace, on your
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm going to
election.
be conference planning chair elect. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
hey.
Wow. Oh, congratulations on having another volunteer job
Of course, right?
that you don't get paid for. Yeah,
Yep. Super exciting. I love it.
I know.
PACAC's the best.
So do you cover, Candace, do you cover like Pennsylvania, New Jersey,
And
and
Delaware. Mhm.
Delaware?
Yep.
Wow. Well, I know New Jersey is a big draw for UVM, right?
Definitely. I think just New Jersey, I think New Jersey, we get more students than both New Hampshire and Maine combined.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wow.
Big year. Yeah, there were a lot this year. It was something like that.
Yep.
And New Jersey numbers are up, or Pennsylvania numbers are up too, so that's always good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son is, I've cajoled him into heading up to Burlington to take a look. I don't know why I would do that, but
Oh no, who knows? Maybe it wasn't that great, awesome counselor fly-in or anything.
that's right. No, that was actually, yeah. I'm still trying to figure out like where to stay. That's like, so,
Yeah.
you know, I've got some friends down in Hanover, so in New Hampshire. So I might go there. I don't know. We'll figure that out.
And so are you a college counselor?
That's what they tell me. Yes.
Where? What school?
I'm at Wyoming Seminary, which is
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. Didn't Karen used to be there?
Yep.
Yep,
absolutely. Actually, when Karen took on the role of PACAC president, I was doing admissions for the school, and she came into my office and she said, "Hey, so what are you thinking about?" And I had just been named interim admission director, and I hated it, and
Mhm.
she knew that. And so she kind of recruited me from Alpha to Omega, and I've never looked back. It's been terrific. And then she and
That's
I
funny.
actually started at SEM together. So it was sad to see her go, but it's great to still be. We're all connected by Paxis, and
Right.
now James Slaff is heading up our office, and Liz Frazzini's in it, and it's like one big Seinfeld episode day in and day out. So we're happy with each other.
Are you guys? I was at Rev Prep, left for 8 years and came back.
Yeah.
Do you guys work with Rev Prep?
We do. I mean, that has been Liz's department. I sort of go, okay, all right. So, whatever. So yes, she's done some work with it. And then obviously, COVID-19 has just kind of awakened everything. So, it's, I'm literally fumbling around in the dark as I try to schedule rep visits at SEM.
Mhm.
And, today, I think, Hobson sent out come and check out the seminar on how to schedule rep visits, and
Mhm.
we use Score as well as Naviance. So we're trying to sort of figure out. I mean, it's really a lot of this just seems to me to be trial and error. So when
Did you
Liz
guys get our gift card to use this month or no?
I think so. And again,
Okay.
I'm embarrassed. I should know.
Right.
But Liz would definitely be able to answer that much faster than me. I think so, because I know in the past when we've been in the office, we've certainly seen them coming through. So, and Liz has talked about it. So
One other question that I have you, Ann, is we're doing next week, and I don't know if this would be of interest or if you know a name. We're doing, this is all free for schools that we work with. We're doing a leadership roundtable for schools about engaging students in the virtual classroom. So if you have like a head of upper school or a curriculum person,
okay.
because we've been doing it for 8 years, and so
Yeah.
it's just sort of a free sort of thing.
That would be, I mean, if you could send me an email with the details on it, it'll probably be much easier for me to forward it on. I mean, there are a couple of people that immediately come to mind. We sort of have a little bit of a task force and trying, as everybody does these days, and trying to figure out what, what the fall is going to look like. And I know so much of that teacher training is this summer, and
I'll forward you the email that I sent out to school leadership that we know, and we're getting a lot of interest in it, and we're just doing it we're getting more into that space just because we're doing so many different conferences and college. We're also doing college fairs for schools, so that might be something you want to keep in mind.
Oh, well, boy, thank you very much. Yeah, it's amazing, just the information overload that comes in, and so thank you. It's always great to have a face with a company. So.
Yeah, I was with them. I'm a boomerang, so I went to do some other things for a while, and then they managed to get me back.
Great.
So
that's great.
So wow, there's going to be quite a few people in this session. So one
We're
more
the
minute.
popular
Are you guys
kids.
about ready to go if I let them in about a minute?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I can do our little introduction when we get everybody in.
Okay.
Awesome. All right.
Well, yeah, why don't I go ahead and admit the people that are there, because you already have 42 people, because it takes them a minute to get in.
Great.
And I'll just keep admitting them after that. Okay, I think they're mostly, there's 47 people in the room.
That's great.
And coming. $54.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Out after lunch. This is great.
Yeah, this is bigger than the other one I hosted, so. And they keep coming. Little peanut gallery here.
This is great, everybody. We'll give them a few more minutes to get everybody logged in.
Candace, you might want to talk to them about questions if you want them to put it in the chat box, or just raise their hand or whatever. You have quite a few people, so they might want to just put it in the chat box.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to our session. We'll still have more people who get admitted here from the waiting room and will join us. But if you do have questions, because we do want this to be really, more discussion based, feel free to put them in the chat, or we'll up, just to kind of collaborate, throw our ideas together to see what we're thinking, what the fall is going to look like. But to kick us off, I do need to say that if you need Act 48 credit for this session, you can complete the Act 48 certificate of attendance request form, which is available on that conference landing page where you clicked into this session. So please remember to complete a session evaluation at the conclusion of today's session, which can also be found on that landing page. At the very end of the conference tomorrow afternoon, there will be a main conference survey to fill out. So without further ado, my name is Candace Duckworth. I am the Regional Associate Director of Admissions for the University of Vermont. I'm a proud member of PACAC. I'm going to have my co-panelists introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zach George. I am one of the directors of college and fair relations at StriveScan, which PACAC has used for its in-person college fairs, and also this spring for some virtual events as well.
And hi, I'm Ann Lou. I'm from Wyoming Seminary. I'm a college counselor, and I have the joy at our school of coordinating college rep visits. And I also work with PACAC as one of the college fair chairs, co-chairs. It's the Northeast one that's held with my friends over at King's College.
So as Candace had alluded to, feel free as we're chatting to throw some questions in via the chat. This session is about the recruitment season redefined and looking back at spring events and virtual events, also looking ahead towards fall. And I'm going to give you a little bit of StriveScan insight. Candace is going to give you a little bit of the college side insight, and Anne's going to give some insight on the work from working with schools and providing some best practices as the students are participating in virtual events. So to first kick it off, I'm going to share just a few slides here about what has happened this spring with StriveScan and many students and counselors throughout the state of Pennsylvania. We worked with in-person college fairs with PACAC, and very quickly in the spring rather, we noticed that fairs were being canceled, and we needed to help make some connections between counselors and colleges and students. Missing that opportunity at a college fair, not having a junior night, really meant that there were a lot of students, particularly juniors and below, that were needing and grasping at any opportunity to connect with colleges across the country. So we at StriveScan were able to pivot and step in and offer a virtual college exploration program, which I'm going to give you just a few slides on, and then talk about the future as well. So our virtual college exploration program was essentially 5 weeks of panel presentations and information sessions done by about 500 different colleges. We did this in partnership with many different ACACs from across the country, including Pennsylvania ACAC. So we were happy to see that partnership. That partnership just meant that they were going to encourage the colleges that were part of PACAC to participate, as well as push the information out to the students and counselors as well. In our 5-week program, we hosted 404 sessions with just under 180,000 students participating. There were 31,000 questions that were asked across these sessions. So when you think about virtual and you think about the opportunity for a student to be engaged, in our 5-week program, students were engaged. They were typing questions. College reps were getting transcripts of those questions if they could not answer them in 45 minutes. So it was really a great opportunity for students that had a lot of questions on the process to post them to colleges and get that information answered. We hosted 523 colleges and universities across these sessions and just over 1,000 institutions. But let me give you a little bit more of a Pennsylvania-centric view of what that is. As I said, there were 404 sessions overall. 45 of our sessions had at least one college from Pennsylvania presenting. So there was a really great Pennsylvania representation. There were over 9,000 students that were registered for our program of the 180,000. So again, a really great representation. And students were coming from 523 high schools throughout the state of Pennsylvania. There were 7,000 and almost 7,500 juniors from the state of Pennsylvania that were participating in our programs, and then again, 51 unique colleges. Those kids that were attending our session were coming from all the corners of Pennsylvania, which was fantastic. We were really happy to see that the word got out on this programming and students had the opportunity from all over the place to learn about the college search process. Our first week of panels was a true panel presentation. It had to have at least 3 colleges, and it presented on a college topic. So how to apply test optional to an institution, how to apply to international institutions, best practices if you're an LGBTQ student identified in the college search. We then, after our first week, had individual colleges that were presenting on their very specific programs. So rather than a panel, it was just one institution presenting just on their own college. We also then partnered with STEM-focused institutions for an entire week of STEM sessions. And then the colleges that changed lives had their own set of sessions as well. So the 40+ CTCL sessions. All told, throughout our 5 weeks, we had 47 states represented in terms of colleges presenting, and we had 13 countries in terms of colleges representing as well. The college reps really enjoyed the opportunity to meet with students in the absence of an in-person college fair, in the absence of junior nights. This was really a great opportunity for them to impart their knowledge that they know about essays, about applying test optional, about the CTCL schools. I want to show you a little bit of what the student experience is to get registered and attend these sessions, because these sessions are going to happen again in the future. And we want you to be aware of what it looked like so that as you're working with your students in the fall, you can be aware of how to to navigate this process. Students registered via the StriveScan registration form. This is the same form that an in-person college fair utilizes. The student submits their basic demographic information. It takes a student about 2 minutes to register, and then they click sign up. It's important to know that we use the exact same form as an in-person college fair because the colleges then get the exact same data field. So for those of you on the college side here, when you got a export of the information of the students from these virtual exploration programs, it was the exact same fields that you're familiar with for in-person fairs. Once a student clicks sign up, they receive a Zoom link for their session that they specifically registered for. They get it right away, they get it a day before, and they get it an hour before that session. So those Zoom links are resent for students to access for those live in-person webinars. The students joined from almost all devices, laptops, tablets, but also they can call in. It's a typical Zoom webinar, so they have the ability, if there is no Wi-Fi, to still call in. We have recorded all of these sessions. So as you're working with your students, if they were not able to attend, if this is the first you've heard of this virtual exploration program, we do have recordings all available through August 1. And I can circulate these slides afterward, but strivescan.com/virtual/recordings is where these recordings all live. You can search based on the state of Pennsylvania, and you can see all of the colleges that presented from the state of Pennsylvania. Simply clicking the institution will also show you that recording, so you can circulate this amongst your students if they were not able to attend in real time. We will have these recordings available through August 1st, and the reason we leave them up through August 1st is we know that the college landscape is changing very quickly. Many colleges a few weeks ago were not test optional that now are test optional, so because of that changing landscape, we are removing these recordings as of August 1st, but certainly throughout the summer, students can pop in and watch these recordings. As we look towards the future of virtual events with StriveScan, we are looking to adapt our nationwide program that we did for 5 weeks, and we're going to make it a little bit more Pennsylvania-centric. So to offer something a little bit more just for students from the state of Pennsylvania. So we're going to continue to deliver these organized virtual programs as we look forward. For students, they are able to access a lot of different colleges. They are able to get their questions answered live. They're able to meet their admission counselor. And for colleges, they're able to very easily get their student data the exact same way that they're used to for in-person events. So as we look ahead to the fall, we at StriveScan are going to continue with some nationwide programs. We're going to continue with some STEM programs, the colleges that change lives, and potentially some more as well. But we're also going to work with PACAC leadership on a more Pennsylvania-centric option. So as you think about the fall, this may not be the time to have your own college fair. This may be your time to streamline the efforts a little bit just for this fall to have your students attend a PACAC virtual event where there are panels and information sessions just for students from the state of Pennsylvania. This is really going to help the college reps so they're not doing hundreds and hundreds of these types of virtual events and really streamline that effort. It's also going to help the students and for you counselors as well to know that one-stop shop where you can direct your students for a wealth of information throughout the fall for those virtual spaces. If your district is absolutely adamant on you offering your own college fair, we do have an option for that as well. I'm not going to get too deep into it today, but just know that we recognize that some districts have those very specific needs. And one of the ways that we're able to offer that is allowing 6 colleges the opportunity to present in a span of 45 minutes. So those colleges would present for 6 minutes via Zoom. And that way your district could kind of check off that box that we did host our event that we needed to have. And then the students have the opportunity to learn from many different institutions within that small window of time. With that, I'm going to end the screen share and I'm going to hand it over to Candace, who's going to chat a little bit more about the college rep experience as she was able to this past spring and fall.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. So I'm, pretty familiar working virtually since I am a regional rep for the University of Vermont. So I'm working here in Pennsylvania. Last year in fall travel, I'm a road runner. I did 185 events between high school visits and college fairs. So I'm, very much get out there, get where I can go to all the events, and really having to pivot that this spring and not be able to attend more than a week's worth of college fairs at the beginning of March has been a transition. And I know all of our individual institutions Scribble to take our admitted student day programs and visit programs and translate them into that virtual platform. So we have now, our virtual tour is updated. We had admitted student events virtually, and we have, our general information sessions, transfer information sessions, panels all up online now as well. But I think we're definitely at a place to kind of brainstorm for the fall. What is it going to look like? Because we do have these virtual visit options for individual institutions. I think we can start to get creative and do kind of more collaborative work with other institutions, which would be super exciting. I know that was one of the features that I really appreciated working with the StriveScan event, was to collaborate with several other colleges. I see Kelly on there. Hi, Kelly. We talked about land grant institutions and some different, programming like that was really fun. So I want to, see what you guys are thinking. What are your schools thinking? Because I know, for me right now, I am not allowed to travel. So what can I do virtually from home that's not repeating, 10 times a day, the same 45-minute information session that students can find on our website all of the time. So give Anne a little introduction too, so she can talk about what the high school side is doing. And then I think we can open it up for the larger group discussion. So if anybody has questions, feel free to put them in the chat too.
Thanks, Candace. And I looked through the field, and Barb Condrate, Jeremy Miller, I know you're out there. And I was very grateful. Not too long ago, Jeremy hosted just kind of a, whoever could jump on, let's toss around some ideas. And that, Candace and I are both in that, and so is Barb. And we kind of felt like that was just, it seems like the more I rely on PACAC friends, the more information I gain. And I do have the luxury of being at an independent school where I get to visit, I get to schedule rep visits. So, it's a small pool of students. So it's very easy for me to work kind of, one-on-one or 5-on-1 with a group of students, and also with a group of college reps. So scheduling is really not that difficult. But then it's really, how do I streamline it? How do I make it the most effective visit for the college rep? How do I make it the most effective visit for our students, and also for us in the office? And so what I've discovered is I put out kind of a few sort of emails to college reps, and I said, what works best? Is it better for you to host or for me to host? That would seem to be one of the dividing lines. Also, is it something that I should just set up myself directly, or is it something that I should begin to try to network through SCORE or Naviance, which is what our school uses? So those are the kind of questions that were running through my mind. But at the end of the day, what I did realize is that whether it's virtual or it's in person, there is no question that connecting students with representatives was really still had to continue. So then I turned my next sort of set of thinking to how to teach students to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there, both opportunities that colleges and universities host, but also when I do set up virtual visits with one-on-one with college reps, how to really make those useful. So that's kind of the stage that I'm in right now. And I'm open to advice as much as I suspect a lot of us out there are. Is just roundtable wise, what have we all got to offer each other for what has worked in the spring and we continue to think will work in the fall, and also what might be some new initiatives in the fall where we can really take advantage of the virtual options. I hope I got that right, Candace and Zach.
Yeah, no, I should say real quick too, just shout out to Jeremy and Barb and the PACAC College Fairs Committee. For those of you who don't know, we have the Pennsylvania Comprehensive College Fair list that's available online. And, last year we really used this document, it was Google Docs, so we could collaborate as different offices received different invitations across the state for different college fairs. We had one kind of resource that you were able to see all of this information at, which really helped in planning, I know for me, and I'm sure everybody else who used that list as well. But this year we're kind of working to reimagine it a little bit for the fairs that are happening. They will be listed there. But Barb and Jeremy have come up with kind of a way for colleges to participate in this list and list their online resources. And then hopefully high schools can also get on this list and share, are they open to virtual visits? Are they having a fair or in-person visits? So we have kind of a one-stop resource so everyone can kind of see what's happening. which would hopefully be nice. So hopefully we'll get that going this summer and keep working on that list together, which will be really great. All right, we've got some questions coming in. This is great. Yeah, Lisa, Delaware has not yet released a definite fall return plan, so we're still up in the air about travel. We're not allowed to travel. I'm in the same boat. I think that might be the case for a lot of folks. And, you know, as somebody who was visiting 5 high schools a day, then going to an evening college fair program, I can't imagine that kind of schedule is going to exist in our future, because what high school is going to want me come 5 different high schools a day and all that kind of cross-contamination possibilities. Let's see. Okay, we've got Chuck asking a great question. For secondary schools and colleges, any sense of when you'll make a decision in virtual versus in-person travel for this fall? If you guys want to unmute yourselves, we can definitely make this a really collaborative conversation. If anyone wants to answer Chuck's question, does anyone have an idea of when they might make that decision? Because I know typically, you know, going into July, colleges and high schools start figuring out their budgets and their schedules. And I know usually by end of July, beginning of August, my schedule is usually pretty set for the fall.
Yeah, I mean, for the secondary school side, I think, you know, certainly independent school wise, I mean, I can only speak for SEM, we can turn things around pretty quickly. I think it seems to me the most practical right now to arrange virtual visits. And then if all of a sudden, you know, the very, very, very best scenarios happen and that visit can be turned into a face-to-face visit. Our plan right now is to return in a hybrid arrangement. And right now, I think, while I haven't heard anything definitive from our head of school, I think it's pretty conclusive that the fewer guests to campus, the better. So our office has not been told that we can host visitors to campus, but we also haven't been told we can't. So I'm playing it safe, and I'm just going to set up virtual visits for the fall. And that way I know if our students are in school, they can still visit with reps. And I also know that reps will still be able to come. So that's my, you know, I think that's more the practical thinking. Any other reps who are out, or secondary school folks who are out there, any other thoughts on that?
Kind of tied to that, and maybe it's Kelly's question that we can also kind of jumpstart here is for visits, would it be during the day or in the evening? And I think that really depends on if your high school is doing asynchronous learning or synchronous learning. If you're expecting students to watch live or have 24 hours to complete an assignment. I'm in Chicago, and we found that some of our districts are really focusing on synchronous learning, which would probably prevent students from daytime. Like, why would a student leave a synchronized learning experience to do a virtual during the day panel when they can do that in the evening? That's kind of like what I'm hearing in terms of logic, because a student can go on any institution's website and take a virtual tour that night. They don't need to leave that synchronous math class that day to do something that they would still be able to do that evening. So I'm not sure what the Pennsylvania thought is with synchronous or asynchronous or daytime, evening, but I think those are all kind of one and the same as we're looking towards the future of where we sit with that. So Kelly, I know it doesn't exactly answer the question, but it's just another thought to keep in mind.
And I did just throw a link up in the chat for everybody if you wanted to see that comprehensive fair list. There are tabs at the bottom, so you'll see one already started for fall 20, and then the college info and the high school info tabs. And again, we're kind of all new to this, working on it, so I'm sure it'll continue to get tweaked as we make it a more solidified document this year. But kudos to Jeremy and Barb for sure.
I have a comment.
And I guess,
Norristown.
Oh, Nicole's got a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm the college and career counselor at Norristown Area High School, right near Philadelphia. And so for right now, what I'm looking at is we haven't received any rulings, of course, of who we can and cannot have. But our school has these big screens that we have installed in certain rooms for conferences. And so they're putting one in my office. And so I'm planning on treating it like a rep visit, you know, and scheduling just like a rep visit, have the kids come down with their Chromebooks, because we're one-to-one, and their earbuds, to see if we can, you know, do it that way. So that's just an option that I'm looking at right now.
see, Heidi in the chat says she's hoping reps will schedule virtual visits that are simultaneously visible to students not in the building at that time, since only half our students will be present at any given time. Yeah, I think that's the one good thing about this virtual option is that it feels much more equitable. You don't have to necessarily miss AP Calc if you can find the information or connect with the counselors, at different times that work with student schedules.
Hey, Candace, is it all right to pop in?
Go for it.
So the conversation we've been having definitely in our office and obviously with others, we're probably looking at a much more limited number of college fairs in the fall. Your reps will definitely have their evenings most likely available. So we are currently looking to offer both daytime visits and then evening visits for the students. I had a colleague mention, about like a poster being sent to a high school with a QR code that says, scan this and tell me when you're available. So, I think this really allows us to do all the things we say we want to do in the fall, but we can't because we're going to 115 college fairs and 100 plus high schools. So I think it's going to allow us to become a lot more personalized and, both still accommodate the high schools at the high school times if they're allowing, if they have space for that, or if they allow the students out of the room. So, I don't think there's a wrong answer for the fall right now. I just think we put our whole portfolio together and everybody continues to do every scenario possible. I know that's not the right answer, but I don't think there's going to be one answer for it all this year.
Definitely. I think I'm just hoping, for me at least, that again, I'm not going to do 151 individual high school visits like we did last year. But like I said at the beginning, I hope this can be more collaborative, working not just to, meet with a high school group of students to tell them all about my institution, but to perform some sort of panel, essay writing workshop, whatever it might be to provide that service for the students and the counselors, and then hopefully encourage a student to be more interested in my school, then go on our website and kind of do things that way to help in this time, or work with other schools that we might, colleges of Burlington, Vermont, maybe 3 of us, and do a program in together or something like that. Whatever our commonality might be to work together, just so that way we all don't feel, more Zoom fatigue than we're already feeling doing a bunch of visits every day.
I think to answer Chuck's question earlier, when do they think schools will make those calls? One thing I can say is, we're already looking at a decreased budget university-wide. And one of the easiest ways to cut something, and that's a travel budget right now, knowing that you have an option to go virtually for your counselors. So I definitely see that happening more and more here in the coming weeks as everything does roll out. So there's that. And Candace, thank you for calling me and Barb out and giving us thanks. And I wanted to say thank you to Liz earlier in the membership meeting. We just try to host it, and everybody else, it's kind of the word of mouth to increase that list. So we really appreciate everybody helping and putting their stuff in there.
Yeah, so to answer Teresa's question that she wants to get Fairmount State's info in there, this is everyone should have the ability to edit this document, so you can add your own information to it. But we really just hope you don't delete anybody else's information or change the way that the tabs are organized and things like that, because everyone can see it. So if you can add to it, that would be great. Let's see, I saw another question here. Anne said, from the college and university side, what virtual programming have you found students to be most interested in? So maybe, this spring, what did you find worked? Maybe didn't work as much. I know for me, I had the ability to schedule individual meetings with students, and only about 3 students signed up of like 50 available time slots. So for me, that wasn't necessarily the most effective, but our live, larger programs definitely had strong attendance.
And we recognize too that when you all send when you as an institution send out a blast, you're sending it just amongst your bubble to the kids that are in your CRM. So you're limited to the number of kids that you want to attend your virtual visit just by nature of you only have access to those kids in your CRM, right? That's the nature of the beast of admissions. The benefit perhaps of a PACAC kind of statewide type thing is that the school counselors and everyone are promoting, and this is a way to reach outside of your bubble to have the opportunity to present with other institutions and and get outside of your CRM's bubble as well. We found in our, and not to say that ours is the golden standard by any means, there's tons of options that are out there right now for virtual. We found that 45-minute opportunity to present on a topic brought in a lot of students that may have learned about new institutions that they had never thought of before. They signed up to learn about truly what a land grant institution was. And then from that, they were also able to learn about those specific institutions who were then able to use those names and then continue to recruit those students. So the topic presenting really helped kind of bring kids into the door of your institution, allowing you to then maybe reach out to those students individually and say, hey, if you liked learning a sliver of land grant / my institution, how about you sign up for an actual 45-minute virtual event to learn all about my institution? So it helps expand your reach a little bit more by doing something that could be a little bit more PACAC centric as well.
I guess the reason I asked the question was really because I've a lot of students, my own students, fed back to me that they just felt bombarded by, you know, emails from colleges that join this and get on this talk and get on that one. And they, you know, sort of, you know, the drinking from the fire hose of information. So I knew there were some really great, you know, as Candace said, one-on-one meetings, topic specific meetings, the whole 9 yards. So it's really, we keep sending out email blasts to our students to say, keep checking the websites of your colleges and, you know, that where you're interested in, because there's lots of great programming. And I know there will be a little bit of a quiet time because I think, frankly, everybody deserves that a little bit. But I certainly hope some of those types of programming will be in the you know, the early fall as well.
This is Brittany at Juniata College. I coordinate all of our enrollment events and visits. And I will say we threw everything at the wall because we knew that we wanted to meet students in different places. We've had everything from one-on-one counselor visits since the very beginning, virtual counselor visits. We added in the virtual tours, which have mostly been one-on-one with our tour guides, guiding them using our virtual tour online. And then we had all of our traditional open houses, admitted student experiences. We just started up our series of summer open houses. We also had student panel chats weekly. We had parent happy hours weekly. We did everything. I will say one thing that I think we've noticed is students, there tends to be greater attendance and also engagement in our group events, particularly even with our student panels and group chats. I think they just feel more comfortable. And we've used the webinar feature on Zoom a little bit, so students can submit questions anonymously, so it gives them even more anonymity. And so I think I've seen some more free questions than maybe we've seen in the past, even when they're in person on campus during our student panels. So that's just kind of what we've done, and we're just trying to meet everyone where they are, but obviously at some point we're gonna have to rein it in and come up with a final plan moving forward.
Yeah, I think I've definitely heard from, you know, just these kinds of conversations with colleagues, even in New Jersey, that the evening programs that have been held, the evening time slot has been better for students, but it also engages more families, that families are able to kind of sit down, you know, that primetime happy hour TV time frame now can be kind of dedicated to helping with the college search and just kind of learning more about these institutions when everyone's schedule's a little freer in the evening, which has been cool.
The other thing I'll say is I was able to moderate a lot of our sessions that were happening through StriveScan's virtual program. And the more engaging and interesting ones were the ones that was not just the in-person info session just replicated on Zoom. You have the ability to bring in current students, you have the ability to bring in alumni, you have the ability to bring in a dean or a faculty member to talk a little bit more about diversity on your campus. So this virtual space, while it might seem limiting, it really opens up the opportunities for you to showcase a lot more people in a very small window of time and engage the audience in a really, really cool way. That you can't bring them to a high school visit. You know, you wish you could bring current students to a high school visit or a college fair, but there's limitations to that. Now you've got a little bit of an opportunity to have the class president that's talking about clubs and organizations on your campus within your 45-minute info session. So as you're thinking about creating what that looks like in the fall, keep that in mind too, to think outside the box. This is a really great opportunity for you to think outside the box and engage students very differently in this window.
Yep, to echo Kelly too, that's exactly what I've heard from a lot of folks is the student engagement, student panels, just kind of hearing that student experience piece has been really, really valuable for students. We have another.
Hi, everyone.
Go ahead.
My name is Justina Haynes. I'm representing Mastery Charter School. Zach, thank you so much for sharing that. That's actually something that we are trying to figure out now. How can we just make these virtual visits as engaging as possible? And some of the things that we've talked about is it possible for us to have a Mastery alum be a part of the presentation, or a representative from a particular student organization, right, that would appeal to our students? So we're definitely interested in hearing what some of the colleges and universities have done in the spring to make the sessions engaging, and what you all have planned for the fall.
Can I chime in? I just wanted to jump. So hi, everyone. I'm Amber Moore. I'm from Delaware County Community College. So we're on the southeastern side of the state, just outside of Philly. So we just decided, we were similar. We threw everything at the wall, see what, we could come up with. We started doing some live with DCC every Thursday at 11. In the beginning, we thought the daytime would work. Turns out we're seeing a little more traction in the evening. And at the time I was a little surprised because I thought, well, people are more home during the day. Granted, we are working, but we thought there would be a little more flexibility. So I think moving towards the fall, we're going to be revisiting our time frame. But what we started doing with those live with DCC is we were bringing in different pieces of our campus community. So we had our Dean of Online Learning come in along with some of her staff, and we had a whole session dedicated to online learning at the college level, what Canvas, which is our platform, looks like, how to access Delegate, which is our student platform, and just ask questions, do a Q&A. We have campus life coming up, we have sports, so you name it. We just kind of reached out to all of our campus community, and we have pretty decent attendance. We could always, clearly do more, but it's like your high school visit, when you come in, sometimes you expect a large group, but the group have been phenomenal. It really helps, I think, the students have that engagement. We try to keep it very informal, more of like a Q&A, what can we do to ease your worries? And then we took it all and did an admitted students day. And we brought in the deans and faculty and other areas of the student affairs side of the house and did a panel discussion. We took questions, and I think it really kind of helped students navigate, at least for us, it navigated our enrollment process and then what the campus community looks like, either when we go back on campus or virtually, knowing that they have a ton of resources and a ton of people out there.
Thanks for that.
I'm seeing a lot of different questions coming in the chat. I mean, other colleges, and we don't have to think about just travel to visit the high schools and stuff, but what about welcoming on-campus visits from prospective students and families? Does anyone have any updates on what their institutions are doing? I know for me, I'm a little removed because I'm not on campus for those visits, but I'm sure as we're going into yellow and green now, that hopefully you're working on different plans, but does anyone want to share what their institutions are doing?
Yeah, Candace, at Alfred, we're starting on July 6th. They're going to have to sign a lot of paperwork, check in, one family at a time. I think there's 4 different hours they could come. It's going to be careful, not going inside buildings. And of course, social distancing and masks and all that great stuff. Mandatory even on the papers that they sign before they come on.
We're planning a lot of the same at Lock Haven. We're trying to aim for a similar timeline as that, but that's what we're kind of working through now is masks, waivers, tape on the floors, how many families can we accommodate, that kind of stuff. So we're hoping by mid-July we'll be able to go live with in-person again.
I would suspect that most schools, even if they're going live, are still going to maintain this virtual opportunity. And I would encourage you to kind of continue pushing that at your universities, because even though you may be green, there may be a family that does not feel comfortable doing the travel and getting to the space. This opportunity for virtual could even exist, years from now when we're back to a regular normal. There will still be students who are just physically unable to visit campus during a specific time. And we've all kind of tiptoed around virtual for a very long time. I think the idea of virtual tours and virtual college fairs and virtual presentations has all just kind of like haphazardly happened for a while. And as of late, it's like we've kicked it into gear and we're learning how to do it all really, really well. And I think we should continue that momentum even after this, to reach all of the students who are not able to make it to a high school visit, are not able to make it to a college fair, and don't just have the savvy to go on a website and learn the information. They want to hear from you. They want to hear from your students. So we should just continue to push this forward as we move.
Zach, I think that's a great piece there, because even with all the restrictions and schools opening up to some visitors, why would I want and encourage a family to drive 2 hours to my campus and not taking them into a single building? Is a very difficult piece as a person that's always conservative, looking at like, okay, they're taking turnpike fees and all this other stuff into account, and then they just drove to campus when they could have took that virtual tour and seen the exact same thing, and actually a little bit more on the virtual tour at that point. So I mean, that's one thing at Shippensburg. We haven't made any decisions. I mean, we have guidance from the state that says visitors can't enter residence halls. So I mean, at this point, we can't take them into a single building. So we're not rushing anything at this point, and that's just where we're at.
May I speak?
Yeah, go ahead, Francine.
Okay, thanks, Candace. So for the other side of that, Jeremy, I have students who've never been on a college campus. They're doing the virtual tours. Some are good, some aren't. You all know who you are. But they have never physically been on a college campus. And I think if they are told ahead, you will not go into buildings, you will meet with an admissions person or a tour guide, you will get to see the outside layout. Yes, it's a little different than our virtual tour, but I have kids that keep saying, but what does a campus look like? And they've been on these virtual tours for several weeks. So I appreciate what you're saying you won't be able to do, but for some, and I've been on multiple, I ran 3 in May, 3 virtual Zoom conferences that are normally in person that I run in May. And I was amazed to hear colleges saying, we'll even let people drive by and drive through, which we of course always discourage. But these kids need to have a sense of something. So I was just looking at Chuck's note to see that he said that it's more important to get the kids back on campus, which I understand. But I have kids, I'm not far from where Chuck is. I'm an hour and a half away. I have a lot of interest in Lafayette, and they're not going to be able to go up and see it. So from this side of the desk, you need to know what we're fighting and dealing with. I appreciate what you say, and I guess my suggestion is that it be in paperwork that you're having these families sign ahead.
I think that's definitely true, that one of the main goals of a campus tour or a college visit is to get the feel. How do you translate the unique feel of an institution to a virtual platform? Because it's going to be different for every student. So that's definitely something that I've been trying to think of. How do you do that? I always tell students, look at the clubs and organizations, social media, different ways to engage that way. But you want to know how that campus feels, because they do feel very differently for different students.
In the neighborhood and the town, which you're not doing on virtuals.
I really appreciate that comment, Francine, and I mean it definitely goes into everything that everybody's planning. It's a very difficult time, and we all want to make the right choices, and we don't want to make the wrong choices. We don't want to upset one family and not upset, make the other family happy. I've actually heard from a colleague in Western PA. They did a drive-in movie style campus tour. They were able to sorry, I have a 2-month-old that didn't like that idea. Tune into the campus radio, and then they were able to get campus information from the campus radio station while driving around the campus. So I think this is a great, as the negatives that have happened, we've all become very interesting, like just new ideas. Sorry.
Oh, and to just added, Alfred, also, we, if a student requests to come and they're from like a hot spot, and not to poke at Florida, Florida's a beautiful state, but it's kind of rising, we may ask them to wait a little bit if they're from a particular hot spot. But I know this is a tough decision, but we did make it, and boy, I really do not envy the staff and the administrators on our campus that had to work out the details. But we're feeling pretty safe with the details that they are doing right now.
Yeah, Chuck put a joke in there about the conference giveaway hopefully being a crystal ball. I think we can all definitely agree with that sentiment that we wish we had these answers. I think it's really, since we don't have the answers, there's no kind of playbook for this, that it's going to be more important than ever for us to work together to kind of think outside the box, like Zach said, and see what our new normal is going to be this fall, for sure. Anybody have any last parting thoughts? I know we've got another minute or two left here.
I just wanted to echo Chuck and Ryan and Jeremy's comments. I think right now our focus is getting our students back on campus safely. We're fortunate that we have a lab that can do testing for us right here in Huntington. That's one of our professors. So we're trying to figure out if we do anything with that for visitors. I think I've kind of come to the conclusion it's likely we will have individual visits, maybe in August or September, but I think our campus, we too have a task force. I think our campus will be more hesitant to have large open houses. So I have a feeling our open houses will be virtual. And I'm okay with that for now, but I hear you, Francine, too. I think we're just expecting a ton more visits in the spring on campus. But we still don't know. I think we're just this is helpful, I would say, is hearing what other colleges are considering.
Yeah, and definitely Chuck just said in here, which would be preferred for colleges to solicit the high schools to say, like, what is your visitation policy, or for high schools to kind of put it out there for us, this is our visitation policy. And this is a great question, and I think we can throw it right back to that college fair list that we have going on. That's there for everybody to put their information, so we can both do that and then use that same resource for each other to look at.
I think also, speaking from the high school side, to Chuck's question, I think that's a great point. I mean, certainly I saw that question, Chuck. I was like, you know what? We could probably just put something right on our website, so when college reps come and look at our website, they know what the policy is. So I think that could be a very easy thing to do. I think the other question is putting that information out there through rep visits and SCORE. I know from the college or the high school side, there is a place to just kind of post a message. So that might be another great spot. I think the toughest thing is always, what is the easiest, moves to make so that the majority of people get the information. And so as I looked at that question, I thought that very much, those might be some very simple places to post information. I don't know if public high schools would be able to do the same thing. I'm not sure how things get on their websites, but obviously at a small independent school, it's pretty easy to get that information out there. So duly noted.
Awesome. Well, go ahead, Luke. I think we're gonna let you wrap up here.
Okay, just a brief, helpful tip. We actually just had a meeting last week with our Naviance folks about talking about Hobson's and some of the new rep visit changes that are going to reflect virtual worlds. And so when it comes down to adding preference and those types of things, there will be later in July an option for that on at least one of those platforms. I'm not too sure about SCORE, but those types of things are always helpful. But of course, having this kind of centralized list will be useful as well. Okay, that's my 2 cents.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
And I'll also say that the College Fair, the PACAC College Fair Committee is meeting very soon to talk about virtual fall events. We are thrilled to be able to partner with PACAC, as was approved at the board meeting on Saturday. So we look forward to continuing to offer options for your students, for you if you're on the college side. And this is a great time to collaborate and work together so that we can meet more students and not have hundreds and hundreds of individual info sessions run, but perhaps streamlining the process a little bit more. So thank you all so much. I think we're backing up on the time here.
If anybody needs to request those Act 48 credits, you can do the form for the certificate of attendance that we'll send out to you, as well as the session evaluation that you can find on that landing page. And we hope we see you guys all at 4 o'clock for the PACAC social.
Free drink tickets, I heard.
Yeah, unlimited drink tickets this year, guys. It's gonna be great. All right, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Good job, presenters.
Yeah, good job. You guys got a lot of interactive conversation going.
Yeah, that was great.
So anyway,
Thank you, Bill, for
okay.
helping facilitate.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Talk to you
right.
guys later.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.